Hello, and welcome to Time Between Times storytelling. It's incredible. Woke up this morning, the road, the woods, the hills are filled with a blanket of snow. There's nothing like just walking and crunching through the snow. One of the best feelings, one of the best sounds in all the world. But I've been out, I got really cold, and now I'm here to tell a tale. Maybe on days like this, we should all get out and about. All get out in the snow and feel the cold air. But then come back. Make a warm cup of tea or coffee. Sit by the fireplace and listen to a tale of the time between times. So, times are still strange. Times are still horrible. But let's try and forget that. Let's sit back and relax. So close your eyes. Just listen. We are at the time between times. The time when it is neither night nor day, but the sun has gone and the sky is grey. The time when the veil between our world and the fairy world grows wafer, wafer thin. So thin that for just a few moments we can reach into their world. And for a few moments they can reach into ours. This is the time that people see ghosts. This is the time that people see stories. This is the time that people see lights in the sky. This is the time between times. We sit around the fireplace, outgrowing numbers. It crackles in front of us. And we can hear the howl of wolves and the growls of bears in the distance. We can feel the chill on the breeze. But we know we are safe here in the time of stories. Tonight, I am taking you to Wybernant, the Viper's Stream, an old place in the Conwy Valley. The woods there are ancient. They say the trees grew when the men of Rome marched their feet through the valley, and they are still there now. When you think of Wales and you think of the tales of Wales, you often think of dragons. You often think of Gelert, the great hound. But you don't think much of snakes or vipers. And Wybernant is where it's called Viper's Stream, because once upon a time in that valley, with those ancient trees, with the great hills stretched to the sky, where there's a crystal clear stream, on the banks of that stream there lived a viper so huge that she had known to bite the head off a man with a single bite. Not long ago, some of the villagers got together to try and rid the land of the viper. They tied 4 horses to her and tried to drag her from the stream. Which such was the strength of the viper that she slithered into the water, taking the horses with her. A farmer called David Fawr, Big David, had tried to kill the viper only a few weeks before. And he had gone off with a spear and was never seen again. The villagers began to despair. Their cattle went missing. Sometimes their children went missing. And they were all afeard to go down to the stream, for this giant snake would be there, basking on the rocks in the sun, awaiting its next prey. They called far and wide for someone to come and rid them of this evil. And one morning, just as the sun was starting to rise above the mountains, a great man rode into town. He had a huge black horse. He wore armour which had seen better days, and a sword so big that barely a man could brandish it. His name was Owen Staton. Good name. He came to the village, got off his horse, and the crowd gathered around him. I am here to rid this town of this giant snake, is what he said. They said they would give him gold, as all the gold he could carry. They said that he would have the freedom of the land. They said that he would come and go in the village and drink all the ale that he would wish to drink. It would all be his if he could rid the land of the viper. But first, he must seek the wisdom of an old man who lived in a cave called the Rhys. 3 times in the year, he would allow people to visit him. And after those 3 times, he would grant his wisdom on those 3 occasions. So Owen waited until the day came when he would take visitors again, and he walked the curving path up to the cave in which Rhys lived. He had not been seen for many months, but he is known as a haggard old man with a beard that almost fell to the floor. Rhys stepped into the cave. It was cold, it was dank, he could barely see his hand in front of his face, and he marched in. And there in the corner there was the smallest of fires burning, and just as the villagers said, there was the old man. "I am Owen ap Griffith. Tomorrow I will kill the viper. They have asked me to come and see you. I care not what you say. But will I be successful?" Rhys looked up, held his eyes, because the sun was just about coming into the cave, and spoke in a voice as old as the mountains, as capricious as the sea. "You will go to the viper's stone. There will be a great battle, but the viper will bite your neck and you will die. You will die tomorrow. That is my prophecy, and that is what will come to pass." Unnerved, but his confidence still high, Owen walked from the cave. "This is nonsense. I know. I've got an idea." Went into his saddlebag, picked up a hood and a mask that covered the bottom half of his face, walked back into the cave. "Hello, I am a farmer who travels around to different villages selling my wares," said Owen, trying hard to disguise his voice and his face. "And I am always afraid of how I will die. On this day that you grant wisdom, only 3 days of the year, will you tell me how I will die?" Rhys looked up and looked at him. "Yes, I will tell you. You will fall and break your neck upon a stone. That is what will kill you." The disguised Owen turned and walked from the cave, chuckling under his breath. "This wise old man knows nothing. He has already given me two ways of dying. Man can only die once, just to be sure." He got some old moss, covered it on his head, an old hat that he had found nearby, and stooping, he walked into the cave. I am a blacksmith who lives nearby. I like to use a ladder, and my wife is always worried about how I might fall and die. Can you tell me, Rhys the Wise, what will happen to me? How will I meet my doom?" The old man looked up once more. "Yes, I can tell you. Sadly, you will drown in the waters. You will drown. That is how you meet your doom." Owen walked away again. 3 deaths he now had. 3 deaths. Such was his confidence, he strode back into the cave and said, "You said you were a wise man, Rhys. It was me all along. You are but a fool." "I know it was you all along," said Rhys. Owen strode down to the riverbank, seeking the viper, clambered over the rocks, waded through the water, until he saw it, just as the villagers had said, basking on an old stone. Grabbed his sword, clambered up quietly, and rushed forward to stab it. He raised his sword above his head, about to bring it down upon the viper's head. But the viper was as swift as lightning, roared off the rocks and bit him on the neck. He screamed a scream that could be heard for miles around, and tumbled from the great stone, landed at the side of the river, and snapped his neck like a matchstick. He then rolled into the stream and fell under the waters, and was never seen again. Some of the villagers had followed him to see the great battle. They looked on in horror, and all started to pelt stones and spears down at the viper when they saw what had happened. The viper looked up, its horrible, deathless eyes staring at them, and it slithered into the water and never Owen died the 3 deaths. The villagers were rid of the viper, and it was never seen there again. But to this day, it bears its name. And that, my friends, is the viper's story. I hope you enjoyed. Always know you are safe here at the Time Between Times. There are many videos here now, many videos for you to enjoy. Please like, please subscribe if you're able, and please leave a nice comment so I know I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. I hope you enjoyed. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you here next week for some more tales. No star.